Okay, everyone, I've got a rotted windowsill. Serious. I mean, I can almost push my hand all the way through. You can see through out there, and where that caulk is, that's the outside. All that got rotted, and I had to dig out. And this is from the inside. Well, look how far I am off the ground. I'm probably 50 feet up in the air, and I can't get at this window from the outside to see what to do. This portion was already repaired, and it's already starting to come apart. It's been about 2 years, and now this whole area is rotted. This is all Bondo on this side over here. It's holding strong, but I was having, I can't get my painter guy to come out here just for this little repair. I would have thought he'd done a better caulking job. Now, the thing is, I forgot I have, I've got to get, before I fill this area with Bondo again, I need to get to the outside, obviously, and caulk this. Well, what turned out to be one of the main problems is that what I found out is I can go around the side in my little potty area right next to it and look and almost reach over here. And they sealed actually at the lip of the window where it meets the wood. That's where it was leaking at, and they sealed it. However, I can't get them to come back out here to fix. You see the bottom where the white is, or they caulked it. They didn't have enough white caulk, and there's still opening there. I got to get that caulked up. Look at how boogered that up is down there. I don't know if you can zoom in on that, but I'm reaching around here. So I made a tool I'm going to try to reach around with and seal that. And then I'm going to fill the Bondo on the inside. The tool I made, a little contraption here, little Bondo applicator, riveted to a little piece of tin to this little angle iron. I don't know what the heck this is, for hanging heavy pipe or something. I connected two of them together with a bolt, so I got some reach. So now I'm going to try to put some caulk on the end of this and reach over here to pull the caulk in there and pull a caulk seal. I'm really not worried about painting. Nobody can see this far up, but we'll see how this works. And then we'll actually start showing you the repair process of this, and I'll get some better light in here. But that's about a good 1.5 inches deep. So we'll get started with the caulking on the outside. I'll show you the after of using that tool, which was amazing, that I just showed you, because I can't do both of them at once. And look at how this came out. Look at that. I packed it in with this tool, and then I had to come up from the bottom and pack it in the top ledge too. And then I re-ran the scraper across. And of course the scraper is not the full width, so there's little lines there, but nobody sees this area up this high. But that's all sealed up temporarily, because to replace this window is going to be a huge penny from all the way down there, and the amount of work. So now what worked out well, again, this tool was money, absolute money. And what happened when I needed to so I dragged this along, pulling it back and pulling it back, kept packing it in nice and straight. And then when I had to do that upper area, let's see, I can do this to do that upper area. I simply swung this around. It's nice and snug. And now when I was in that area that I had to pack something in, come up from it, I just pulled up, and I packed it in all along, pulling it up into that seam, whereas the upper seam. And then I straightened it back out, and then I pulled lengthwise and smoothed it all out. Again, I could not get at this thing for nothing. This is the only way through this window, and I'm not getting on a ladder 50, 60 feet high. So the next video will be me letting this set and actually start working on the Bondo, the repair of this. But you can see, I wish I could turn the light on this. Can you not? Turn the light on, there you go. You can see where the caulk from the outside filled in. I'm almost all the way through with this wood. and I caught it just in time. And then I'm gonna let this dry. I'm gonna start packing in several applications of Bondo. Let this dry out a little bit more. See how it goes. Wish me luck. Okay, so here we are on the inside. I actually spread a little bit of that exterior caulk on the inside of the window, and where those really light spots were, where you can almost see through to the outside. And now I'm going to apply some wood hardener before I actually Bondo it up. I actually had some of this, so I dipped the brush in there a little bit, and we'll dress that on there. Best we can.
Are you making a video?
Yeah. Okay guys, we're at the point where I'm going to be prepping the Bondo for the gap in the window. I'm going to need a lot. So this may be, I've already put one application on the window. I couldn't video it because it was very technical in nature, getting it down into the grooves. There was a bunch of channels down inside the window. So I had to kind of drip it all in there, kind of like I'm dripping this into the actual I don't know, they never show anybody mixing this stuff. I know it almost maybe looks mundane to people, but this is again the all-purpose Bondo putty. Works great. Ah, lovely. I'll wipe that off later. Got some hardener here. I usually try to put on a little less than required because I'm not in a rush for this stuff to set off. The last thing you want to do is this stuff to set off while you're working with it, and then it's garbage, and then it's just a waste of a whole application. So, and then I just take this, see how I mix it in there. Since I got a big application, usually I use a screwdriver for a small amount, but I've got a big amount I'm working with, so I'm actually using the putty knife. And I use it as a scraper if I get too close to the edges. And then, because you got to be careful, I got a lot on here. I could have used a pretty bigger, much bigger piece of cardboard. I guess I'll lengthen it out. I could reposition this. Just keep mixing it until it's all uniform. Obviously, a lot of you know how to do this, but I don't see many people showing how this is done. Okay, and then we're going to go over to the application over here. I got to keep moving. And then I actually touch flush with the board, so I'm getting all of the stuff off the board too. So I'm not just getting the top, I'm going all the way down to the board, scraping it all free. See that? So there's like no unmixed areas. Again, you're always going to have a little bit of unmixed, but either way it's going to got enough hardener around it that it's going to. So I did this, so even the stuff on my putty knife, I'll get off, and look, I missed it, so get it off my putty knife, get it into the mix here. All right, now let's see if I can move over to my area here. Hopefully you can see this pretty well. I should have done this before, but I'll try to show you the whole process. Easy way to keep things clean up, and keep in straight lines. Do something like this. And the other thing is, I trimmed this down. This was a paint stick, and this is gonna hold me there fairly straight. Okay. So let's go ahead and start packing this in there. It's not going to be pretty from the get-go. It always starts off a little bit ugly, but it cleans up, hopefully.
as we get in there. And I can kind of pack it in there this time. So again, I couldn't do it last time. I couldn't pack it in there because again, I would have pushed the silicone, or I should say the caulk, outside of what I just did on the outside, because there was no wood there. It's basically I got a faux silicone border out there. So again, I'm gonna have to put several applications in here, but I'm just building it up slowly but surely. And this stuff, when it goes off, it gets pretty warm. I wouldn't say hot, but definitely gets pretty damn warm. Whoa, do I have a loose piece of wood in there? See, again, I can't. So I can just clean that off there. So I'm getting to the point where I can't. I'm putting so much up there that there's a piece of wood in there. It's all right. So I'll try to get as much in there as I can, which is doing pretty good actually. I was worried I wasn't going to have enough of this can. Now there's an area you can see that I didn't mix very well. So what I'll do with these areas, I didn't think I'd have enough to do this, but I guess I will. Put a first application on here as well. Start cleaning this up. And I'll use all this stuff up on this one. Actually, I'm getting more on there than I anticipated. And I can push on it a little bit harder now. Oop, see how that's starting to look like that? See how it gets all, it's already starting to go off. So I gotta finish up, get this done. That is it. See how it's getting all not bubbly, but rough. That means it's starting to cure already. Yep, see how it's getting all furry? It's done. Well, I got most of it in there now. That's it. I'm gonna clean this off. That's how you clean the edges. Yep, see, look, it's already getting hard. There is it. All of a sudden, boom, it just goes off, this stuff. Now what I'll do is, while it's still soft, peel the tape, and it makes a fairly clean line for me. Put all this tape in the trash can. I will take my little damp thing, wipe this counter off. And that's it for the second application. I got a little pocket there, but I'll pack that in later. Yeah, this stuff is already going off. Alright guys, that's application number 2. This last one, this could be it. I'm fine-tuning it, I'll probably do 2, but this next one should make it look pretty good, I'm thinking. Fingers crossed. Set up here that I don't hit this, because that last one wasn't that good for you guys, it didn't look like. So I don't know if this will work better. Why is this falling?
I'm gonna end up hitting this while I'm working. All right, guys, I'm not sure if you're gonna be able to see this. As much as I try to get this camera closer with being in this tub, it moves around, it falls over. I've got basically this dual-sided Gator, dual-side Gator sanding sponge, 60 grit on one side, 80 on the other, and they even label it. I got this at Walmart. So I really want to cut this down. So we'll see how this works here. Try to get a flat surface here. Lovely sanded Bondo smell. Nobody shows this ugly part of I could get a sander in here, but alright guys, I just used my little Ryobi sander. So much easier. Cleaned it up. You can see all divots where I still have to fill it in. Now right here, the actual part of the edge is gone. So if I drag it across, it's gonna have a divot here. So I gotta try to build this out as well. That's asking a lot, but we'll see what happens. I've got a little valley down here I gotta deal with as well. Try to get it all on this next one. Might be asking a lot, but we'll see how she goes. So we'll spread some more Bondo on here and try to make this my final one, but most likely there'll be another one after that. But otherwise, I think it'll look like new. All right, guys, I did my second application here. Looking a lot better. You know, where you try to touch up in the middle, it makes these little micro long lines, but that will be all sanded out. I filled in where the gaps were down here. And again, don't forget, I'll be caulking that after the fact, so this shouldn't be that bad. All in all, looking pretty good. We'll see when this dries and we sand it up. Okay, we've got our, looks like to be our last application. So the last one you saw was, basically, I'm right on track here. I'm not going to have to do another one, I think. I've been using this sander with 60 grit, which takes it down a good bit. I'll go up to a finer one after I knock this down. I got this bottom ledge part. We'll see how this, having the lock button on this tool is sweet as well. Looking pretty nice. Let's hit it with the vacuum real quick. Come back with a little bit of a light finer sandpaper here. Straighten this edge out. So I'm getting the flat part and the bottom part here at the same time. But this is a much finer sandpaper. Let me get this shelf too.
got booted up a little bit during this process. Clean this up a little bit. That feels pretty good. Actually a little rough over here. Just use your fingers is really a great guide. Again, I could put another application on there. Let me give you guys a close up here. Let's see. So we can see like these little lines are some imperfections that I could fill in. And I could go crazy on this if I really wanted to. Maybe I'll put some primer on there, see what it looks like. But, and then there's that edge down there, which is pretty good. Again, I'm gonna put some caulk in here, so I'll hide a lot of this. But let's put some primer on here, maybe see how it looks. Maybe we'll do another light application if needed. All right, guys, got some primer here. We're gonna throw on this. I'm gonna try to hold the camera so you guys get a better view. Just using the lid cap with the primer. Let's see how this turns out. Moment of truth. Hard to do all this holding this camera, but let's get some more paint. Whoops. I'm actually gonna get a little bit more from the mothership here, and this is actually looking better than I thought here. I could actually fill in that hole with some of that primer, it looks like. So there we go. Now again, will you see some of those imperfections a little bit? Yeah, but we'll do one more little dip here. Then we'll let that dry and see what it looks like. Maybe we'll sand some more, put another.
All right, but you know what? You know what they say, a difference between a perfect paint job and a good paint job? The only difference is 5 feet. So if I'm outside my tub, nobody really steps in there. You can't even tell. I mean, and that's just a primer coat. So we're looking pretty good. All right, we'll let that dry up and we'll see where we're at.